Hi, this is Travis with Two Brothers Adventures. I'm going to talk today about a 5-gallon camp sink that we built. We're going to break this video up into 3 parts, so we'll give you a quick overview of this, then we'll break it down into how we made it, and then we'll show you how it's all packed up and how to set it up when you're out in the field. So this whole idea was born from an Instructables I saw online about a guy who did something similar. He had a lot more to his. I refined it for camping, made it easier. The reason we built this was to solve a problem we had when we went camping with our sink. We've always used one of these 5-gallon or 6-gallon buckets to wash our hands and things like that, where you turn the spout on, the water would trickle out, you can wash your hands, then you need to turn the spout off. What we found, especially with the kids, is that we waste a lot of water. They'll leave this on while they're washing their hands and things like that. You can contaminate the spout and different things. That's where this whole bucket solution came into play. So this is a pump system that one person can operate. As you can see, here's the pump. You have clean water in the bottom here, your gray water gets captured down here. And to make it work, you just simply use this foot pump, and you can slowly pump. And you get as much, as much or as little water as you want. If you pump slower, you get a small trickle. A little harder, you can get quite a surge. So we found that by using this, we use a lot less water. Water's not getting wasted. One person can operate it very easily. So that's the 5-gallon bucket camp sink. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I made this camp sink. I used some of the ideas from an Instructables I found on Instructables.com on a guy who made this similar setup. I made some modifications for camping and things like that, so I'll show you how to make this. First of all, you need 3 5-gallon buckets. Obviously these ones are from Home Depot, but if you can get 5-gallon buckets wherever you want. And then you're going to need 2 lids. And the first bucket, this is like the gray water catch. This one you don't do anything with, so we'll set it off to the side, as well as this lid. This lid, nothing happens to it. This is the bucket where the clean water comes out of, and simply put a brass nipple in here that fit the hose type we're using. And as you can see, I drilled the hole just a little bit smaller and jammed it through, and it's siliconed on this side and siliconed on the inside. So that's the other bucket. We'll set that to the side. And then the third bucket is where most of your modifications come into play, and where you actually build your sink component. So the very first thing you do with this is you cut off the bottom piece. I just use a utility knife, but as you can see, I cut about 1 inch below where these reinforced rings are. And this you don't use, you set that aside, use it as a garbage can or whatever. Then what you do is you take the second lid, as you can see right here, and you cut on the inside of this reinforced piece where you can see where it clips on the outside lip of the bucket. So as you can see, I cut that piece off. Same thing with a utility knife. I just follow it along the edge of this reinforced part. That makes this small enough that it'll slide inside of this bucket. So you slide that inside of the bucket. I tried to line it right up with these rings so that this isn't pushed out and it'll easily slide in the other bucket. And then I used screws, as you can see around the outside, that screw through the bottom to hold that in place. I siliconed it up on both sides so it won't leak, and cut a hole in it for the drain. The other piece that I added to the outside of this is 1/2-inch PVC pipe. This is what actually holds the tube and the spout that comes up. So I just used some clamps around the outside of that. I took off the handle, and that's the part that I screwed into right here, as you can see, to hold that. So that's all you need for the components of the sink as far as buckets. Then you're going to need some miscellaneous PVC pieces. This is all 1/2-inch PVC pipe. Depending on how high you want your spout or not, you can mess around with different pieces of these. I actually, when I first built this, I reamed out the inside of this, and I put a sink faucet piece that screwed in there, but I didn't like the way the water came out of that, so I pulled that out. This is kind of the heart of the thing. This is your actual foot pump. You can pick these up all over the place. This one's actually from Harbor Freight. It was really inexpensive, like $6. And it came with the hose. You can get some a little bit thicker ones, I think, that are like for gas and that, but they're a little more expensive. And then you need to build an actual foot pump. So this foot pump's just out of a couple pieces of scrap plywood I had laying around, and a hinge. And you put the dowels in. These dowels hold this piece in place, and then a cut off piece of tennis ball, and that acts as your foot pump. So those are all the components that you need to be able to build this. Pretty simple and pretty easy. Okay, as you can see, this is what it's like all packed up, ready when you go into the field. Obviously in this bottom here, there's plenty of extra space if you want to store towels, soap, things like that. I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is to set up. First, you pull off your top lid, set it aside. You pull out your sink components. I leave mine all attached because sometimes it's hard to feed the tube through this. Feed this tube down through the sink upright. It holds the sink part. And now the sink is ready to go. Separate the gray water bucket. Pull out the foot pump. Now we're going to want to take this piece and attach it onto the nipple of the clean water. And you can screw that down. I use these speed ones because it makes it easier in the field. So we'll tighten that on there. It's got a pretty good tight grip too. You don't necessarily need that, but I put that on there. You feed this hose around and attach it with one of these clips as well onto the pump part. Okay, this sets inside of the reservoir like that. And then we take, we have some hose water right now for demonstration purposes in this cut-off piece of the bucket. I'm just going to set this aside if you were camping, whatever water reservoir or whatever you would have. You can fill this up to 5 gallons. You put your lid on top, your gray water bucket, and then the sink goes up on top of this. So there it is, all assembled. And then it's quick and easy to use it. You just give it a few pumps, get it primed, and there you go. Water drains down into this bucket. You can save this water and dispose of it as gray water, or pour it on your campfire when you leave, whatever. And that's the camp sink.